Right, morning. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, just kicked off with Bread's If a Picture Paints 1,000 Words, because that's our topic for today, I think, Ed. It was your favorite picture and what it means to you. So I'm going to go across to you first. So over to you.
Thank you for that, Ivan. I'm really glad you didn't play the Telly Savalas version of that song. And I was hoping you might have played Blondie and Picture This. Yeah, I think sometimes a picture can say a lot more than words can. And it's strange because I'm really very much into words, but I'll share with you my favorite picture if this whole share screen thing works. Can you guys see that?
It's coming up, just not quite with us yet.
Well, let me know when it's up there. It's a picture that hangs on my wall.
There we go, it's up, yeah.
Yeah, it hangs on my wall and it's very special to me. It's called Blue Moon Bay, and it was painted by a guy called John Snow on the 31st of December 2001. Now, I don't know, you guys might not know John Snow, but he was a correspondent for ITN, and he reported from Vietnam, El Salvador, Afghanistan, Iran, before becoming the Washington correspondent. And then he became their diplomatic correspondent. And then in 1989, he became the main presenter on the Channel 4 News. And he's still presenting Channel 4 News now. And I think he's 73 now. So he's been a big anchor for that particular news station. And he's known for his colourful ties and his colourful socks. And he's a big environmentalist. While everyone else at the TV station gets taxis, he arrives on his bicycle. And he goes to meetings on his bicycle, and he'll walk in with his helmet underneath his arm. And he's also the chairman of a couple of tree planting charities. And then a little while ago, he turned down an OBE because he believes that working journalists should not take honours from those he's reporting on. So he's a man of great principles. But that's not why I've got the picture. It's the back of the picture that tells the story. And I blurred it out so that you can't actually see his address and telephone number. But in 2002, he entered this picture in the summer exhibition of the Royal Academy. It's a big sort of art and stature and sculpture and all that sort of stuff show that they hold every summer. People can send their works in and then they get judged to see whether they're good enough to get put on display. And his got rejected, and that's the rejection slip hanging on the back. Well, 2 years earlier, and I might have told this story before, I've been at a corporate private preview of the summer exhibition, and it's quite a posh do. You have to wear a dinner jacket. All the ladies have to wear posh frocks. You sip champagne, and we're all standing around one exhibit, which was just a cardboard box on a plinth like a statue. And we're all laughing at it, drinking our champagne and stuff. And anyhow, 2 weeks later, I'll pop over to South Africa, run Comrades, and then I visit this orphanage in Cato Manor in Durban. And I'm cuddling this little baby. And then I'm hearing that he was found abandoned in a cardboard box. And those two images haunt me. The posh people laughing at a cardboard box and the little baby thrown away in a cardboard box. Anyhow, about 3 months later, I was at a charity do for a charity that actually supports that particular orphanage. And John Snow was one of the patrons, and he put that picture up as a raffle prize. And I so wanted that picture. I really, really wanted that picture. So of course I bought some raffle tickets, and Lady Luck smiled on me that day because I won. My ticket came out and I won that picture. And it hangs on my wall and it means so much. I mean, I like it. If it's not great art, I like it, but I love that connection. And it reminds me every day that in the world, there are people that need help, but it also reminds me there are people that are prepared to help as well. And I think John was probably quite pleased his picture was rejected because he's a non-conformist. And of course, the RSA is one of the most conforming places there is. So yeah, that's my story and my picture, and I absolutely love it. And I don't know why Lady Luck shined on me that day.
Thanks, Ed. Yeah, lovely story and great connections made with that particular image for you, and memories around that image. So yeah, thanks so much for that. All right, Vinay, let's get across to you next.
Hi everyone. Sharing screen and putting my mic on is difficult. Okay, so this is a picture. I don't own it. Can you see it?
Yep, yeah, we got it.
It's painted by an artist called Peter Bonney. He lives in Clarence, and he used to do really super realism painting, and then he sort of changed. I'm not a fan of abstract art, and he's changed to pictures like this that are really realistic, but not his super realism. And I think that is to make them more affordable for everybody. But I love this picture of his. It's always been a favorite of mine, and he calls it water-wise, and I've never quite been able to figure out why. If you have a look at the different elements of it, there's a puddle of water that we hope is from rain and not from the overflowing tap in the front. And then he's got his little tank of water there, but on the right-hand side, there's a bath as well. And I once asked him what the little red thing is just outside the house. And he said, it's anything you want it to be. And I thought it's actually so true. When we all look at paintings, we see different things. You can see the desolation here, or you can see the beautiful mountains in the background, the dead grass, or the tree that's amazingly green. And I think every picture is very personal to everyone. And we've been told what to think of certain of the famous pictures. But I think it's really important that when we look at a picture, we do make it personal. And we take from it what we wanted to believe. And that is my story about my picture from Clarence. Thank you.
Right, thanks, Vinay. Right, Jasper, let's get across to you next.
Hi there. Let me just share the screen. Let me first of all just go into finding my PowerPoint. All right, so this is a picture that's on my desk at my office. And years ago, I started a movement called GIG, Generational Inheritance Group. And it's about every family taking ownership of its own journey to move his family from a one-generation mindset to a three-generation mindset. And in symbolizing the journey, we say you are building your legacy house. And then using the framework of a house, we say that the foundation of the house is based on your philosophy, which I call wisdom. The walls of the house is then called wealth and wellness. So wealth is the theory of growing wealth, and wellness is then the application of the theory, and worth is the roof, which then says that's your vision of your purpose of your family. And if we drive in any street, in any town, in anywhere in the world, you won't see two houses looking exactly the same. Either the outside differs, but mostly it's on the roofs, how the roof shapes. But so for me, this just symbolizes that whatever I do on a daily basis is there in the middle of the picture. It's my family, my wife. On the right there is my son and his wife, and their little two kiddies on the side, and then my younger son at the bottom. And it's about getting to a place of abundance, of freedom, of lifestyle, but it's also a reminder that it's an ongoing journey, and we are busy building this figurative legacy house brick by brick, day by day. And so that's my encouragement every day when I sit here in the office.
Great, thanks, thanks, Jasper. All right, Cecile, let's get across to you next.
Just all the sec. Photos. Okay. So a bit more photos. I'll say. Okay. There we go. Okay, I actually have 3 different pictures that I want to share with you. This photo is a photo that my sister took when she moved into Eden Glen, where we're going to move to in 10 days, a week's time, 10 days time. And whenever I see that, and it reminds me, and I go through the turmoil and the whatever one goes through just while you're packing and moving and all that kind of stuff, wrapping up business aside, I look at the picture and I think that's where we're going. And what is significant about this is, what's it called, the telescope here in the front, to look into the future and see what things hold. Sometimes you have to look through the telescope to see what things are going to hold for you. You can't see it with your naked eye, but when you look through the telescope, you can see exactly what holds the future for you. Sometimes, sometimes not. Sometimes it doesn't hold anything straight away. Then there's one other picture that I want to just share. Let me just delete this one quickly, otherwise I can't share the next picture. Okay, can you see my other picture?
Not yet. No, it's not up. We're not getting it, Cecile. Not sure. And you're now on mute, so I'm not hearing you.
Well, I'm now muted. For some reason, hold a sec, let's just get back here. There we go. There we go, sorry. It's just so hard on the phone. I'll be with you in a sec.
We like to stretch everybody on the Wisdom's chats here. So Vinay, having trouble doing 2 things at once, and now you learning how to do things.
No, on the phone, I don't know if you've tried Zoom on your phone, but on the phone, it doesn't actually allow you to do all the things that you can do on the computer. But my computer doesn't have sound on it. So let's go. Let's try again. Photos. There we go. Sorry. No, it keeps on wanting to do. Sorry, I'll have to do it later. It's a photograph. It's this photograph of a lady with a mask. I'll maybe put it up just now if you after someone else. And it is a combined photograph of the photographs of all the people, of all the nursing staff that have actually died during COVID. And when you enlarge the photo, you can see all the faces of all the people. It's absolutely fascinating photo. So let someone else just take a turn, and at the end I just want to share that photograph with all of you, and then we can just remember all the people that have passed on in this last 8-9 months, be it from COVID or not.
Okay, thanks, Cecile. All right, Chivakoti, this is yours. So over to you.
Thanks. Morning, everybody. How's it? Last Thursday of November for 2020. Yeah, so this is an interesting piece of art, if we can call it art. So those brown hands are the hands of Nelson Mandela. And I was involved with some of his artwork for my sins with some guys at my school, blah, blah, fish-based. But we decided to do a project for his centenary called Take Hands with Mandela. And I don't know if you can open up that text, Ivan. But these 5 sets of hands that are with Mandela there, it was one of those really cool days where I had all my children together with me. And I'd planned this artwork some time in advance. I'd got the artwork itself. I'd bought the paint. I'd set up the venue, and I had all 4 of my children with me. And we had this time together to reflect on the life of Nelson Mandela. And it's a very interesting reflection, because if you really understand the life and story of this Ike, he should have been a hell of a lot more bitter, twisted, and angry. And don't make a mistake, he was a traitor and did a whole lot of things that anywhere else in the world he would have hung by a rope. But he came out of this thing, went on to be our first democratically elected president, and he talks about how hands can be used to destroy and in destruction, or to grow and to build. And it's all about the attitude that you take. So I did this painting with my 4 kids, and I started by dipping my hands in the purple paint and physically taking hands with Mandela. So my hands are over Mandela's hands there. And then I asked each of my children to share a little something. They are all children of the post-1994. So they were born in this new rainbow nation, this free South Africa, this democratic South Africa. So they didn't have a license to shoot people like I had, and they didn't have to do conscription, and they weren't indoctrinated in apartheid. And I just asked them what Mandela meant to them, and what this statement that he makes about hands meant. And so the top left are my eldest son's hands. The bottom right are my youngest son's hands, the ones in green. The one to the right of my eldest son is my eldest daughter, who today she gets her results from her 3 years of studying at Stellies. And the bottom left is my baby daughter, who's 17 today. And there's something funny that came up in all of this stuff. Somehow, somewhere in there, I don't know if you can see Africa in all those handprints, but there's a little bit of Africa somewhere in there. And so this piece of work, I call it participation art. Definitely one of my greatest days with my children. And it has pride of place in my home and hangs front and center. And it's just a reminder that whatever we have come through or from, we can always make a difference going forward. And if you choose to participate, to build and grow versus to destroy and break down, that you can achieve anything. And so it's just a reminder every day that that even I can do art with my children and have it hanging front and center in my home. So, and if any of you want one of these pieces, I still have a few left. So maybe we do a wisdoms one fine day. Thanks, Ivan.
Great, thanks, Trevor. Yeah, it would be an interesting project. So yeah, very nice idea there, very nice memories. So thanks for that. Right, so Steve, let's get across to you next.
Thanks, Ivan.
Hi, everyone. So I'll share a piece of art with you. It's a story about a family, and the young son decides that he's had enough of living at home, and he declares his family is dead to him, and he disappears off. He takes his inheritance and he runs away from home, and he ends up in a space in which he has to return home after having lost everything, expecting the worst, and he's greeted by two different characters. He's expecting his father to disown him, and his father welcomes him home, and his older brother stands there in judgment over him for what he's done with his life. And it's a it's a phenomenal rendering of a very old story by a Dutch painter, Rembrandt. It's hanging in the background. You might be able to see it. I'll put it up on the screen now. And it is my all-time most favorite piece of art, because it covers so many parts of what it means to be human. There you go. Can you all see that? Cool. And so in the foreground, you can see the young son there who's kneeling in front of his father. That's the old man embracing him. And the brother is also dressed in red. And there are three other figures, if you can see them, who are either sort of attached to the household or work in the household. There's an older distinguished gentleman next to the older brother, and there's an older looking maid, and right in the background there's a female figure as well that you might be able to pick out. Rembrandt did the most amazing work with light and with color, and I'm a massive fan of his and the artwork that he did, and this is one of his later paintings. And it's amazing to see, for me at least, if you know anything of Rembrandt's life and sort of how he lived, that there's a lot of him as the painter in this younger son figure being embraced by the father, being welcomed home. But for me, it's kind of archetypal about what it means to be a human being, because within all of us, there are parts of us that are lost and that are broken and that have tried to run away and to claim ourselves and to be different, and have realized where we've failed. And we have a desperate longing to be home and to be welcomed and to be accepted. And at the same time, we have a desperate fear that we won't be welcomed and we won't be accepted. And there are parts of us who are the older brother as well, who stand in judgment over ourselves and over other people, and not necessarily helpful, healthy judgment, but unhealthy, unhelpful judgment. Because in this story, what the older brother never got to experience was the freedom of what the younger brother had, of going out to make mistakes and embrace his own failures. He just lives at home safely, never having risked anything, but lives at home in resentment because he's never had the guts to actually go out and try something different and fail. And that's a part of all of us, I think, as we judge parts of other people and other people around us. But then the third archetype is also the father, or the elder figure, which I believe is part of our sort of our soul and our psychological evolutionary end, if we embrace it to the fullest, which is to become an elder, which is to mature in both wisdom and in pain. And you become this figure. And this is an incredibly sort of impoverished and old man. You can see how he stooped forward. If you're able to see the painting in its fullness, kind of in real life, it's huge. I mean, it's a massive canvas. The man looks almost half blind. He's kind of at the end of his life. He's not a strong, sort of masculine figure. He's a broken old man, and yet he embraces his son. And if you look at the hands carefully, you can see that he embraces in both the masculine and the feminine. So it's not just a male embrace, but it's the archetype of where we can be as human beings if we mature in wisdom and in pain throughout our lives, that we're able to welcome those parts that are lost. And the story that is not captured here, but the story as it's originally told, is the father also trying to embrace the judging son as well. So both these parts of us, the self-righteous and the lost, are welcomed and can be integrated in the end into an elder figure in the culmination of our life's journey. And so it's a phenomenal artwork for me. I have it hanging over my desk, and I often sit and think and meditate on it and the wisdom that it has to teach. So yeah, that's my picture for today.
Sure. Oh, powerful one. Thanks, Steve, for that. Yeah, amazing stuff. Right, Donovan, let's get across to you next.
Good morning, everyone. Ivan, because I'm using my phone, I sent you my photo on WhatsApp. I don't know if you're able to show it for us from your side. Okay.
You're on mute, Ivan.
Sorry. Again, multitasking like everybody else. So Donovan, yeah, I didn't hear it come through, but I've got it now. I'll bring it up for you in a sec.
Thanks. Okay. Basically, when you see it on the screen, there you go. It's supposed to be a man picking up a leaf, but the only one I could get was, someone holding it up. So what happened is when I was a student, I was part of the construction architecture department, or fine arts and architecture. So one of the students from the architecture department, he was just walking around, and then suddenly he stooped down and he picked up a leaf. Like he didn't care who was around him, or people were staring at him. He was so attracted to that leaf, and as he picked it up, he studied it, he admired it. I think because of his creative side, or his talent, he could see things in that leaf that's in terms of his career or his studies, he found it very interesting. So I'm sure he must have looked at the structure of the leaf. It looked very similar to the one that's on the screen. The structure of the leaf, there are veins, fine lines, the color. I think the leaf was withering like this one. And to him, it was the most beautiful thing to look at that stage. He basically forgot about time. He was so absorbed with this. So for me, it's all about nature. If you just take your time, take a break from the world, from everything and everyone around you, and just find, peace and calm, even if you're in the middle of the storm. Like I'm sure he was, under pressure with the studies and whatever circumstances, but he just took that time, stooped down, forgot about everything else, and he just admired that worthless leaf. I'm sure there were millions of leaves on the ground, and he just identified, with that leaf somehow, and that is all that he focused on. So it's about life, you need to have focus so that you're not scattered, so you're not running around, so you're not confused. That will help you to achieve your goals. Thank you very much.
Great, thanks, Donovan. I think beautiful story of simplicity, and I think it's the most we've ever heard you speak on this forum. So simplicity can sometimes give us real insight. So Cecile, I got your photo as well. I saw on the WhatsApp, so I'll just bring that up for you quickly here. And if Cecile, if you're with us.
Yeah.
There you go.
So if you enlarge it, every single one of those, it's a mosaic of faces of all the medical staff that had died in the first 2 or 3 months of COVID. And yeah, so I think that's just a reminder for all of us, that all of us together can stand together and work together to a bigger goal, or to a better goal for the earth, whether it is to fight COVID in our own way, not infecting other people knowingly, or just stand together and help those that are in need. But I think that is a beautiful picture, because on the surface it just looks like the people that are helping us, but when you look deep down, everyone has taken hands and collaborated to help mankind. Yeah.
Great, thanks, Cecile. Right, Trevor, over to you.
Right, so I'm bringing up a picture to allow Steve Carter to do a little bit of analysis here. He loves to analyze dead wood. Yeah, I can understand. So let's see if he has got some. So Steve, you are completely wrong. Because the most iconic picture of all time should now be on your screen. Is it there? Okay, and the reason that I actually brought this up is just to give Steve a little bit of insight into this was painted by obviously a kindred spirit of mine. Back in, I think he painted this around 1889. If you don't know who it is, you better go and do your homework or Steve will tell you about it. But for me, it's almost as though my life from the beginning all the way through to now has always been about looking up to the stars. So it doesn't matter, you know, I hear Trevor talking of the days of conscription. The only way that I actually got through a good number of years of that was lying on my back, looking up at the stars and thinking about people around the world that were underneath them. When I was on the beach, was spent lying up, looking up at the stars and thinking about other people all around the world. And so to me, it's just absolutely iconic. And then to understand just how much a picture, and of course I can't get to it because of the share screen. Let me see if I can get to this here. Can you believe? I'm going to have to shut down here. Just let me stop share and see if I can bring this up again. Nope, it's disappeared. Isn't that absolutely?
You can see where the strength in our wisdom teams come from. You know, people lying on their backs, looking up at the stars all the time and not doing much else. You've got to.
So just hang on for me, because what this stimulated, I think, are the most incredible words ever. And I'm going to try and hopefully it comes up now. So just please bear with me. Share screen there. There it is. So are you listening, Steve Carter? No. All right. I'll actually get this link because it's fascinating, the story behind Van Gogh and how he came to actually paint that particular picture. I really think it's iconic, and certainly Don McLean made it even more iconic for me because he actually put just a real deep soul behind the interpretation of that picture. So let me stop share there.
Great, thanks, Trevor. All right. Well, after all this deep and fascinating stuff, I'm going to take a completely different direction here for a moment. But yeah, maybe it still has some deep meaning as well. But I'm going to start off with this picture. Which is, believe it or not, a drawing. So that is a soft pastel drawing done by a South African artist by the name of Leon Forshire. I would love to own it and have it hanging huge and large on one of the walls in my house, but certainly don't think it's inside my budget at the moment. But I mean, just the incredible detail and skill that it takes to put together an image like that with, as I say, with soft pastel, believe it or not, is just, to me, quite astounding. And I mean, he's got many other amazing images as well. So quite a amazing talent from a South African artist perspective. And then again, nothing particularly deep, if I've still got it here, just some shots that I'm just going to run through very quickly, which are shots that I enjoy, shots that I've taken, and just reflect various elements of perhaps who I am and what I enjoy. So there's a little close-up of a rain spider that produced about 120 babies in my bathroom the one year, and gave me some great opportunities to get some close-ups of her. It's another spider, believe it or not, a little flower crab spider sitting on a lavender flower. There's a praying mantis, deep contemplation, Steve. So that's one for you to analyze. That's just a little spiky bug, which I've never seen anywhere else again or before. Took that one in Mabula. There's another praying mantis looking a little bit quizzical. Here's an amazing little bee, about 5.5 millimeters long, completely golden, metallic golden in color. And there's a river, Itala Nature Reserve. I took that at sunset in Itala. I love those reflections on the water there. That's just on the Botswana side of the Limpopo, high up on a craggy sort of outcrop. Some members of my family, the three of the girls sort of in the middle, and 2 people that we met up there. Also sunset looking out over the Limpopo. Amazing landscape and place to visit. It's a little African jacana doing some early morning aerobics. That's a hooded vulture, which happens to be quite an endangered bird in this country. Here's my golden bee again. That's a picture of beach at Nature's Valley, place where I spent all my Christmases from the day I was, well, not the day I was born, but from my first Christmas after being born through to my early 20s. Amazing privilege to be at that place. There's my rain spider again, and that last one is my daughter, who sadly passed away just over 4 years ago now. So very special as well. Right, so that's just me in a few pictures. So thanks, folks. Tomorrow, any ideas? Anyone want to pick a topic for tomorrow? Nobody? Pick a topic, Trevor? No?
I'm trying to pick, but I think that was fantastic. And I'm sure, look, I know I've got more photographs that I actually want to share, or images that I want to share. But because Steve Carter was on, I had to give him something to analyze me with. But what about coming back up with another set of images that we might have not had the chance to do here?
Okay. Cecile, were you wanting to add something?
Yes, I think let's do that again. I think everyone has got more photos that they want to share with the group, and it's so fascinating to listen to everyone.
Okay, excellent. Well, let's do the picture thing again tomorrow. So, folks, have a great day further, and we'll see what's in your pictures tomorrow again. So, have a good one. Cheers now.
Bye.